Altars and its mysteries. Recently, somebody told me something and said, there were problems in the family. He decided to trace what is the genesis of this problem. He now discovered that many years ago, the father had a problem of life and death. And they now consulted a particular altar in a particular city. And among all those who were involved in that problem, all of them were killed, were executed, were condemned. They lost the case. But because this individual consulted an altar, evil altar, and they promised them after the consultation, after paying the price, after making a sacrifice, and said, if this thing came and this man did not die, we are going to bring a goat to you. And eventually this man was not killed. The other 8 people were killed. And life began going on happily. But this man forgot what he vowed to that altar. And eventually problem began to happen to the family. Death, hardship, losses. At the time, the house, family house, caught fire and it was burnt down. Terrific. Nobody is going ahead. Things were difficult. And they sat down. They now remember an altar that was raised for their father many years ago. And when they went down to the place, they discovered that the man, the juju priest, had died. The whole place was wilderness. But the altar was still fighting them because of a promise of a goat. That is how dangerous an altar is. Now, friend, I want you to listen carefully, because this message will change the life of people forever and change their generation forever. If only they will obey and do accordingly. The problem with man is the inability to obey and inability to believe what the word says. The word altar in Hebrew is called mizpah, which means to slaughter. In other way, to kill. Now, friend, begin to think back. Look at your father or look at your parents. Are you suffering what they suffered from? Or do you observe a particular element is predominant in the family? Your elder sister had this issue. The other sister had this issue. Or your mother or father had this issue. And you have this issue. Another person have this issue again. Listen to me. Don't go anywhere. There's an evil altar. There's an altar operating. Have you discovered in the family there is this hardship that is operating in between the family? Maybe difficulty in having breakthrough. Nobody went to university. Nobody have a house. Nobody, all their effort struggling is a big problem. Don't go anywhere. There's an altar fighting. Altar is one of the basic things that is a big problem, either to lift you up or to bring you down. Don't look anywhere. Have you discovered that you pray for against a particular dream or a particular attack in the dream? Or it could even be sleeping with someone in dream on a consistent basis. You have bind, you have prayed, you have casted, you have fasted, and it's becoming a pattern. Don't look anywhere. An altar is involved. An altar is involved. Have you ever discovered there's this issue of drunkenness in this family, prostitution in this family, and you just discover the issue of you carrying over a pattern of reoccurrence. Listen to me. If you have such evil altar, even if you are a pastor, that altar will still follow you as a pastor doing God's work, and it will be affecting the work. You are doing great thing, but the great thing does not carry effect. An altar is involved. Let me tell you the truth. If you are born again, never be deceived. Never be deceived. There's a stage where you have to come enjoy grace. You enjoy the grace of God. That is the milk stage. That is the elementary stage where you see things working out. But when you come to a particular level, you will no longer be enjoying milk. You will no longer enjoy the water. You will not be chewing bone, meat. You have to come to a particular level where you should be able to understand that nothing just happened, and all the effort of prayer, fasting does not open that door. All the effort you put in this aspect of prayer, the thing is still hanging there. Don't look anywhere. There's an altar that's involved. Ladies and gentlemen, a man without an altar will always remain a storyteller. Story. But never get into the realities of power. Now check through the Bible, especially when you look through the Old Testament. Anytime there's a great victory for the children of Israel, it was as a result of an altar backing them up. That is why they got such victory. If there's not an altar in a man's life, forget about success. This is the truth. It is not mere word, but in power. Not mere talk. Look at boys that raise altar in your villages, in your cities. They raise altar for themselves. If you cut them with cutlass, cutlass won't enter them. Shoot them, it won't enter them. Think about the Bakassi boys and all these boys that in the street. I'm sure you know all these things I'm talking about. Am I right? They went somewhere and raised altar. When they come out from that altar, use knife, use gun, it will bounce back. Nothing. If they slap you with one hand, you fall down 7 times and die. Fall down 7 times. Pam, 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 pam. Altar. And you tell me that, oh, well, it's not important. It's not real. These are real things that are happening in the world. When you look at 1 Samuel chapter 7, from verse 9, 12 to 14 or so, Israel were trembling before the Philistines. They were helpless. The Philistines wanted to wipe away Israel. They were more powerful. They were more equipped. Their soldiers were much more than anything else. It was terrific and terrible. Israel were quaking because of what the Philistines would do to them. Then Samuel came over in verse 9 Look at what the Bible says there. And Samuel took a sucking lamb and offered it for a burnt offering, holy unto the Lord. And Samuel cried unto the Lord for Israel, and the Lord heard him. Verse 12 says, then Samuel took a stone. Let's stop there. A stone. What was a stone? He was using the stone to raise altar. And what happened after they raised that altar? Invisible personality were fighting for Israel. Invisible hand. A man can just be standing with his equipment to fight Israel. Unseen forces will knock him down. Bam! Will die there. At the time, they will just be facing each other and be fighting each other. You think it's ordinary? No. Samuel can speak a word. Samuel can pray. Samuel can do all that kind of thing. But he knows the mystery of altar. He knows it. So he knew this one is different thing. He has to raise altar. Because the Philistines, they know the mysteries of some of these things. That was how they defeated them, conquered them, dealt with the Philistines. The best way to defeat your enemy and to defeat those who are fighting your generation is raising an altar. You can use altar to unlock spiritual dimension and destiny. You can use altar to unlock the forces that held you from having children, from having prosperity, to having a job, for having a breakthrough in life. Friends, the spirits that are fighting you, the spirits that are opposing your life, responds to altar. They bow when they hear of altar. They bow and they quit. If a man can raise an altar, that means he can command angels to work on his behalf. If a man can raise altar, he then means he can move forces. And I tell you the truth, where your prayer stops, that is when your altar fights and responds. Your altar responds quicker, faster than any other thing. When we pray, do God answer? Yes. But why is it that we pray and the prayer did not come the way we thought it? Let me tell you, the mystery you fail to understand is this: altar is a tool of transmitting our miracle to us. A transmission. Now, let me give you a good example. MTN provided your network, right? They provided for the nation. But they have to put a transmitter close to you. They have to put something to receive the network close to you. If it is not close to you, will you receive network? You will not receive network. But they have provided it already. They pay the government. It's available in the country. But so long the transmission is not close to you, you can't receive network. Altar is a transmitter of what is already provided by grace freely to your hand. Altar is a powerful tool that activates your miracle and download it to you. What is an altar? Altar is a place of sacrifice. You know that. Whatever fights you need to be attacked by an altar for you to understand what it means. Altar is a place where people's destiny are altered, are changed where people's destiny are either manipulated, altered, changed for good or for bad. In other way, I told somebody, altar is like a marketplace where you buy and sell. I carry my goods there. The other one carry his goods there. You buy and sell. It means it's a place of transaction. It's a place of divine and human interaction, trades of, buying and selling. A place of bargain where people come to bargain for your life, for your husband, for your children, for your sight, whether you will succeed or you will not succeed, whether you will make it or you don't make it. Altar is also a gate of transaction. Nothing just happens in life. Everything you see in the world, good or bad, please take it down and write it down. Everything you see in the world, good or bad, are manipulated by altars. So that is why I told you an altar is a medium of exchange, a sacrifice and sacrifice. Any altar place, in any place, involve covenant and also involve sacrifice and involve curses, and are being activated and maintained after the covenant, the curses has been done already. Even when the person who is an instrument to active has died, the altar does not die. It keeps saying, keep remembering, keep announcing. There are three things I want you to notice. Like, all altars to God or devil are powerful. If you don't know that, so don't play with it. So be careful. These three things. One, the Bible says, revile not the gods of the land. Who are the gods of the land? Is idol. So don't revile them. I'll show you the scriptures. Number two, do not curse your father or accuse your father or your leaders. Number three, do not remove the ancient landmark without the owner's or God's instruction. Many people have died in an attempt to remove the ancient landmark. A friend of mine went to his village and said he's born again, and went and removed one of the ancient landmark of his father without his father's instruction. He's a man of God, and after pulling that idol, that juju, he died. This man of God died. He went and tampered with something he shouldn't tamper with. Is he not destroying the ancient man landmark? It's not destroying God. Why should he die? Because he tampered with things he shouldn't tamper with. When you see Exodus chapter 20 verse 28, the Bible says, Exodus 22 verse 28, thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the rulers of thy people, or curse your father, or accuse your father, or your pastor, or your leader. Don't ever, because once you speak against your pastor, your father, you are speaking against the gods. Then, when you go to the extent of reviling the juju priests, and when you are not appointed for that assignment, you are not called for that, you start involving yourself with, say, all those, or maybe like Bible says about ancient land, but don't remove the ancient marker. You went to the village and said there's a place dedicated to juju priests, nobody should go. And God did not send you, they did not give it to you. You went and you stubborn head and say, Jesus is Lord, I'll go there. Whatever happened to you is your own portion. Think they don't have power? They have power. With Jesus' name, with all your Christianity, they will catch you. The idol of the land, the gods of the land will deal with you, because you revile their gods. The altar is a tool of dominion. It's a powerhouse of human government. Altar is a place where destiny are decided and judgment are issues. It's a courthouse of freedom or of captivity. Altars are the spiritual airports where you take up in life and you land. And obviously in a spiritual airport or in a physical airport, you must present your credentials before you fly. So altar is a spiritual airport to take off in life or to land. If you have landed when you are supposed to take off, today I reverse it in Jesus' name. Can you shout a better amen? Huh? The tools used for altar, obviously, is blood. Blood is needed. The day you pay your wife's bride price, or your dowry, or you wedded, you are involved in an altar of transaction to either take off or to land. Don't say your wife is an agent of the devil. Never. Because there are some transaction in the realm of the spirit that is transaction unknown to you on the very day you pay your wife's bride price or whatever, or the day you wedded. And a man will either stand or fall right from when he contracted and raised an altar of wedding, because a transaction is made after that time. Your life is your blood. If you don't know that today. Your life is in. That is why when you are sick, they will go to the hospital and draw your blood and test it. If there's sickness inside, they will know. So your money is your blood. So one of the tools of operations is your blood, your money. It's your money. When you look Genesis, I think chapter 15 or so, verse 6 or something like that. And the Bible says, and Abraham believed. What do you mean by the word believed? What do you mean believe? And it was counted for him for righteousness. Then when you look at next chapter, he was involved with sleeping with his maid. The belief we are talking about here, it was not the right or wrong belief, right or wrong, or good or bad, or what you do or what you don't do, whether you're righteous or not righteous. Because if you look next chapter, he wasn't demonstrating righteousness. He was sleeping around with a maid. He was doing some other things. So the Bible says, and he believed, and it was counted for him. It wasn't on the basis of his right living or not his right living. It was the basis of his committed, his surroundedness. That is what it means by that belief. That means God had a deal with him. And Abraham said, today, I follow you wholly without reservation. Everything I have, by the virtue of this altar, we have raised. Because he raised an altar between himself and God. And when he raised that altar, everything he has, he gave it to God. He said, Lord, everything you say I should give you, I give you. I am now entering a realm. And God looked at Abraham. Say, you mean now you believe me and you are not telling me everything you have, he gave it to you? It's difficult to say that. It's difficult to say that. You think it's not difficult? Go and look at it. If you have got expensive cars before, if you've got powerful building before, if you have got some money in the bank, it will be difficult for you to say, oh God, anything I have, I give it. Everything I have, I give it. Your mind will tell, what if God says you should give him that car? Or you say, that house you have, leave it, give it to God. Or your job, resign, don't work again. Or pack your load, give it out, and say, go and stay in the street. It becomes difficult. That was a kind of promises Abraham was dealing with God at the altar. And God looked at it and said, you mean you are telling me everything you have, I give it to you? It's okay. I accept you. Then, because of that commitment, that sacrifice, the Bible says he gave all at the altar. That's what the Bible says. Surrender all. That's what the Bible says. Die to self. That is what the Bible makes us to understand about taking the cross and follow him. I give it all to God. Not my will, but thy will only be God. I will not hold anything back. Everything for you and for you alone. It was at that point in time, God now look at Abraham. Say, Abraham, you mean everything you have, you give it to me? Say, yes. Everything. Honestly, to be candid, it's just today, while I was sitting there, I look at myself. I say, Lord, today, I can't preach this message. I make a change. In the previous times, I'll be asking God, if God say I should give this. I know many times my wife will ask me, tell me, say Ernest, say, my honey, this house we are living in, don't tell me God say we should give it out. Don't tell me you should give you this one out. Don't tell me you should give this one out. Don't. She has been, and each time I want to pray that prayer, I'll be saying, oh God, don't ever tell me to give you everything, because it's difficult for me to say I give you everything. My wife will not accept to this. My wife will not accept this one. My wife will not accept. Even myself, I know it's difficult for me to give this one out. But while I was sitting here, I told myself, I said, God, today I repent. Everything and anything you say I should give out, I'll give it. So long it will bring me good. So long it will bring me blessings. So long it will bring the greatness, the fame, the blessing that I want from you. I give you everything. And do you know what happened? That was what Abraham did at the altar. Because the altar is a place of death. It's a place of sacrifice. And when he did that in that Genesis chapter 15, even though he had some problem, sleeping around and all that, God now appeared to him again, in 17, 18, and God reaffirmed the covenant and make another covenant and made another sacrifice. After making the altar again, the second altar to enact it, God now said, okay, I'll give you my blessings. And later in the years by, God gave him the most expensive gift, and that's Isaac. And said, God, I want to test this guy now, whether that thing said in Genesis chapter 15 is the right thing. First of all, he says, send the son you have away. Send Ishmael away and bless him. Then he said, kill your son, your only son, for me. And God was testing, kill him for me. And he never consulted with flesh and blood. He never took permission from the wife. He quickly took that thing in the morning. And when this 18 to 20 years old boy, after spending all the years of training, and Isaac is a grown-up boy, Abraham is going to kill him for God. And do you know what happened? When it came to a time as he was killing him, God said, now I know. Why did God say, now I know? God, did you not know before? Are you not seen before? He said, now I know. And God now make a covenant of everlasting with him. But God did not stop that. God would have said, no, okay, you cannot take your Isaac and go home. God still provided what? A lamb to raise the altar and complete their sacrifice. Because God receives sacrifice, receive altar to bless people. Friend, listen to me. God received altar to bless people. He demanded for it. He asked for it. He asked for it. Now, let me tell you something many of you don't know. Cain killed Abel. True or false? Cain killed Abel. But why did God now protected Cain, the murderer? Cain killed murder. God says every murderer should be stoned to death, should be killed. And yet, God himself who put a mark on Cain and protected him. He said, anybody who touched Cain because of killing Abel, he says 70-fold. Is it 7 or 70-fold? 7-fold of punishment will be of anybody who touched Cain for killing Abel. Let me tell you the secret. God was protecting a murderer because of something. I want to reveal that to you. Now, Abel used animal for sacrifice, maybe bull or cow or whatever. Then he used maybe yam or whatever. And when he discovered that God respects the offering and sacrifice of Cain, of Abel, Abel was thinking, what will I do that we are smart or that will be bigger than the bull and the cow that Abel used? You know, say, I got an idea. If Abel used animal, cow and bull, I will use human being. Who was the human being? Was Abel. He now killed Abel. That was why the blood was crying to God. It wasn't crying to fight Cain. It was crying to God because he offered this kill. The Bible is against killing human being, but he disobeyed. Even with the killing of human being, God now came back, said, okay, I caused the earth suffer would, because if you kill human being, listen to me, whether to the devil, to a shrine, there's always a consequence of it. Even though you will get the money, like those who do rituals, they will kill, make sacrifice, they will get the money, but it's either they will have leprosy in their family, untimely death. You know what I'm talking about. Either they will die on time, or their womb will be closed forever. One problem will come, but they will get the money. Problem will come. They will suffer it for killing human beings, even though they got the money, because they use money to. You'll be seeing them flashy car, flashy building, but they are passing through what you call hell. True or false? That was what happened to Cain. He used the blood of Abel. God marked him, protected him, and said anybody who touched him because he did this one, 7-fold, God would deal with him more. It was because of that. But listen to me. That is how important. That was why when God told the children of Israel, go and fight the Moabites. Go and fight the Moabites. Elijah, a seasoned prophet, killed an animal to make the sacrifice and go on. The fight was against the Moabites. The king of the land now said, hey, this fight is terrible. He took his own son and killed his own son. Kill his own son. What happened? The fight now changed. Who was now fighting? God was now fighting his own people, because the king of the unbeliever did a human sacrifice, which is against God. They will go to hell. Anyone who kills is a murderer and go to hell. Even though you receive wealth, prosperity, success, or whatever you need, you will go to hell and you will suffer in this world, even though you got that thing. That was all what happened to that king. The battle changed. God was now fighting for the king, his own people, because of that sacrifice. Uttered, erased. Someone came to the scene, said, I'm going to fight a battle. Anything that came out of my house, I'll give it to you. What have the only daughter he has come out? He cried, oh, my daughter, the only daughter I have. I make a vow. And the daughter said, if you have said it, let it be. Because it was a higher rate. God stands at every altar that is made. Now, when you partake in the communion, and I pity those who don't partake in Holy Communion. Now, listen to me. Do you know the Holy Communion is called the Lord's table? How many of you know that? And the Lord's table is an altar. The Lord's table is where? It's an altar. And when we take the communion every Thursday in this church, we are partaking in the Lord's table, which is the Lord's altar. We are using the communion table to raise an altar for you. And people will not take it serious. They will not want to come. They will not want to come. They will not want to come because they feel it's well. You can't ignore spiritual things like that. Listen to me. Life are manipulated for good or for bad, depending on the altar. Many of you today are suffering because when you were born, they presented you an evil altar, Amadioha. One shrine, they gave you to that shrine. Or maybe before your mother get pregnant, they went to one place, one juju priest, and the juju priest did some things and said this one. And before your mother got pregnant, they made some sacrifice. They put some blood in your mouth and put blood, and the mother and use some blood, do some blood, and they gave you a kind of raise an altar, evil altar. And you grew up and start facing some terrible attack, and you never know there's an altar fighting you. And again, you see some people, when you grow up, many of you notice this. You see one spoiled girl here or spoiled boy here. The boy is so spoiled, the girl is so spoiled, but things are working for the person. He's coming to church, but it's not serious with God. Things were just working, pam, pam, pam. Small prayer, miracle. Pam, small prayer, miracle. Small, even you know this one. This one is a spoiled girl. It's doing juju here, prostitution, boyfriend, girlfriend, sleeping around, messing up, stealing here, doing some few bad stuff. You know the person is church, or the person don't even go to church. But everything is working. He married easily, got job easily, things are working, has car, has houses, things are working. You begin to wonder. Listen to me. Don't say anything you don't know. Go and ask the mother. When they gave birth to this child, where did you carry this child to? Or when you are pregnant of this child, where did you carry? The mother may have raised an altar for that boy or that girl, either at the womb or when after he born. That's why many of you, I pity some of you, when you do dedication, you mess it up. When you carry your child to the altar in dedication, and you offer the sacrifice, the blood. Some people, when they want to do dedication, they will just come with pure water and say pure water and with the egg and just put there. You pray that you are. What will you do? You brought something tangible, realistic. You said, "This is my child. I'm presenting at the altar of God," and you brought some quality thing to God. Present it to God with the baby. And the priests pray on the baby. You have raised an altar for that baby already. And when some years later, things are just easy with the babies. Things are very easy. Got married without stress. And he said, it's not a child of God. It's not serving God seriously. Now you talk that one. But for God, the altar the father or the mother raised when the boy was 8 years old or 8 months old or 3 months old is one speaking for that child. And there are some cases they carry this child to an altar of the devil, and happily that devil was a good one. The thing start working for the baby, but there's an adverse effect. Either he will not get child or will not get baby, but this will work out for the person. Beautiful girl like this, no husband, but things are getting a job, things are working. Maybe the mother took it to a Madi or one demonic altar that makes things work for this girl, even when the girl has grown up. But then there are things that this girl will pass through. Prayer will be difficult. Difficulty will be passing, will be crying. God, you give me job, you give me this one. Things are working, but why is this one happening to my life? Altar is crying against that woman, that girl. And that's why I say sometimes children, mother, or whatever, they raise altar for each other. And if they did not raise altar for you, and you are passing through life natural, raise an altar for yourself. If you are passing through some of those challenges and you felt that an altar is working against you, friend, don't stay there waiting. Raise an altar. Raise an altar. Raise an altar. That is it. Sacrifice is the offering of oneself money, food, objects, lives, whatever. So you can offer yourself as a sacrifice. Now, when you look at the Bible, let me go through some Bible scripture very quickly. In Genesis chapter 4, in Genesis chapter 8, Genesis 8 verse 20, you see Noah build an altar unto the Lord. Noah built an altar to the Lord. And when God saw or perfumed or smelled the altar, he made a vow. He come down and make a commitment. When you have a dream, please, if it's a good dream, raise an altar to activate the dream to come to pass. If it's a bad dream, raise an altar to cancel that dream. When there's a prophecy, the man of God is preaching and is prophesying something, raise an altar, run down to the altar immediately with a seed, with an offering, and drop it and say, I kill myself to this prophecy. That's when the man of God is preaching. You see that happening in Genesis chapter 12 from verse 7. The Bible says, and the Lord appeared unto Abraham and said, unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar. God told him, I will give you this land. God told him, and yeah, oh God, you said you give me this land. He now raised an altar immediately. He now raised an altar. What was he doing? Was to activate the promise of God that God gave me this land, and God is now bound to keep his promise. An altar is a table of swearing between you and God who promised you. That means when God swears, he swore to Abraham, he swore. What happened? When God wants you to believe that what he's saying is true, he swear, I'll give you this thing. Then quickly raise an altar that this swearing is binding between me and you. Promised me this, you give it. That was why God could not stand it. Even when Abraham was 800 years ago, he still fulfilled his swear of giving Isaac to a child to Abraham, because God has sworn and his covenant can never be broken. You see that happening in Genesis chapter 15 again. When you look at other places from verse 1, if you go ahead and read from verse 1, you see, and the word of God came unto Abraham in a vision. In verse 9, and he said unto him, take me a heifer of 3-year-old. God was the one who was asking him to raise an altar. Why will God ask Abraham, take an offer, raise an altar for me? It beats my imagination. If God can do all things, he's all powerful, he's all wonderful, how will God tell Abraham, take an animal, raise an altar for me? Because God works with altar. Many of you don't know. I told somebody, I said, look, if you like, pray from here to Jericho. There are things that will never respond except altar is raised. If you like, pray, kneel down. There are things that will never respond until you die except altar is raised. Because God respects altar, and he used altar to bind himself and bind you and make sure this thing comes to pass. So here, God told Abraham, take a heifer, take an animal, take this one, raise altar for me, so that I'll be sure that this thing, I will do it for you, so that the altar will be a remembrance. It will be activated. Even after you have died, it will now reoccur that this, I've raised altar and I've committed to this altar. It will come to pass all your life. No wonder Abraham family cannot be defeated. Even when they fought kings, only the family went to fight. Sodom and Gomorrah were held captive, and the king of those nations held them. And Abraham took his family and went and fight countries, and they came back victoriously. It was altar that was standing behind him. If you are an altar, if altar is backing you up, you just go and sleep. Things will work out by itself. Engage your altar in a battle. Friend, look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, engage your altar in a battle. for your destiny. That is it. It's not mere word. In fact, let me tell you the truth. Some of your prayer in English is not everything that is out of faith. Some of the prayer in English are out of fashion, out of God. Because those words are irritative language. Because we don't know how to utter words. Some of our prayer language and what we use, they are just waste. They just trash them. Because some of the prayer is full of complaint, full of some other things, kind of words. That's why we tell you pray more in tongues than in English, in your language, because most of those things are just words are irritative. Oh God, can you see me? Is God? Did God tell you say he's blind? Oh God, where are you? Did he say God has disappeared? It's an insult for you to ask your father, oh God, can you see me? Oh Lord, where are you? It's an insult that you all kind of insultive word you bring to God, and God look at you and just smile. If you like say anything, God turn his ear and take the one that is important and try the other one. But utter, speak the language of the heavens. Utter, speak the language of heaven. Friends, listen to me. You don't know what it means. Life is tied around raising dangerous utter. And look at the Bible. Every man in the Bible, whether Isaac, whether Jacob, all of them raise utter. Dangerous utter that help them attain certain victory in life. I declare by the power of the Holy Ghost, you will have victory in Jesus' name. You will have victory in Jesus' name. Hallelujah. I say you will have victory. I say you will have victory. You don't understand what I'm saying. Listen, this year we are going to enter a realm. A realm that nobody in this world can contend with you. There are people you cannot defeat anyhow. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I was told of somebody who is an armed robber. He went to armed robbery, they kill everybody. He's always right. Even when they kill everybody, he's the one that will be saved out of it. They will go for another robbery again, they will catch everybody, they will still kill everybody. He will be the only one that will save. One day he went and see that one of my pastor, I know his name, I don't want to call his name. He went and see him. He said, Pastor, I don't know what's happening. I am an armed robber. I have killed people. I have done this one, I've done that one. But each time we go armed robbing cases, everybody was killed. He will be saved. They will shoot people, they will not shoot him. Somehow he misses the bullets. Somehow he just come out of it. He doesn't know. My mind is loose. And all these years I have been living. They now say, please tell me about your mother, your father. I now tell me, and I told him, my mother is a member of so church. Very good church. And what happened? He called the mother. I told the mother, your son is with me. He said, praise God. He said, who are you? He said, I'm a pastor. He said, every day they go to church because he knows the son is an armed robber. She knows that. He says she always makes sacrifice for that child every time he goes to church. It's no matter of whether he say he makes sacrifice on that. He raises altar for that child every day and cry to God, look at who my child is. I have talked, the child refused to. And when he told this pastor, and I came down, I was talking to him. He said, hey, see your mother. Don't you know you go to this church? He said, no. He said, anything the mother tells him to stop Amber, he said, enter this year and goes out again. But the altar the mother is raising on a constant basis is the one protecting this boy from being killed. The boy said, but I don't understand my life. Every of my friends have been killed, but he's still alive. Some were in jail, arrested. They don't jail him. They don't. Even when he doesn't know, it appears, he disappears. He said, I don't do any juju. I don't do anything, but I don't know how come I disappear. I run away from police and I run away from everyone. He said he doesn't know. It is not the pastor now know the altar the mother was doing for the person. Friend, listen to me. You are struggling. You don't know. We are the one doing ourselves. Sometimes we give different interpretation to things that are supposed to redeem us from some problem. A man, go and check it on the internet. Rockefeller. I used to talk about Rockefeller. He was passing through some death sicknesses. The doctor have told him he cannot survive this sickness. He said he cannot survive. He said they gave him when he's going to die. He said, well, if I'm going to die sometime, what happened? He now took his check, told his accountant to come. He said, how much do we have in the bank? He said, he now wrote a check. He said, go and give this one to my pastor. He said, you are finishing our money. He said, I'm going to die now. If I die, who is going to leave the money? He said, give the money to church. I know I will die, but my money will not be in the hand of the account of the company because people will mess it. Give it to my church. He wrote the check, signed it, and they drop it to the church. Big money. He said, wrote the other one again. He said, this percentage, they should give it to these people. Let them build to help people that are sick already. They will leave, but himself is going. He did not do it because he wanted to live. He knew he was going to die. But he was surprised that the time the doctor gave him to die has passed. Instead of dying, he was living. Do you know, from 50-something years when he contracted that sickness, he lived to 95 years. Altar. I told people, I said, look, altar is the key foundation to many Christians, but they are ignorant of it. You can't be barren if an altar is speaking for you. You can't be barren if an altar defends you. You cannot be sick if there's an altar working for you. You cannot be poor in life. Evil cannot come your way if an altar is backing you up. Listen to me. Sometimes it could be your children. If altar is working for them, even though they are not Christians, they are even prostitutes or something, altar will begin to do things beyond their expectation. Many of us, look, go and ask all the great men and great women today. It was one altar or the other that is speaking for their life. Man of God, you know what I'm talking about. It is one altar. But children of God, they are logic, they are using sense. Give your first January salary to God. Hey! Give it to God. My own brother, the same blood with me. He was in amok. And they told him, 1 year salary. Give it to the amok. Give it. He was doing that. He was saying, give it, not give it to amok, sorry. He was saying we should give it out. And he did for 1 year. What happened is a different story. I give that meme on that day for half time. But when you type children of God, give your 1 month salary, January salary. Oh no. What will I do? But when Juju priest said, tell you, an unbeliever, give your womb, give your body, so that you can, you say, oh, I don't need this one, cut them, take them. Is ask Apostle Paul, who gave his body never to marry as a sacrifice. Apostle Paul, did he see Jesus physically? No. Did he not do greater than all the one who see Jesus physically? It was because he gave himself. Married, relationship, nothing. And that was why Apostle Paul became the greatest of all, even though he did not see Jesus physically. Greater than all the one that have ever lived. Altar. Look at those people who in the secular world raise altar for themselves. Raise altar. I mean, terrific altar. And that altar speaks where they go. See a man who a young girl should be queuing up for one beautiful girl like this, no husband. But you see one ugly girl that has not been able to keep himself well, or even spoil. Men are queuing up. I want to marry this one. I want to marry this one. I want to marry. Oh, no, this one they see. Altar is speaking for that girl. You think it's ordinary? Altar is speaking. And that she did something. I was telling somebody. I said, I don't know whether you see. I say either when this girl was small, when this girl was small, an old woman with firewood, he was going to the farm. He was going to, or coming from a farm, and all of a sudden the firewood fall. All other children are laughing. The mama, the old mama, they were laughing, and this girl just come. Hey, mama, yeah, gather the thing for the person. Gather them, and I say, mama, where are you going? I'll carry it home for you. And the girl carry it home and carry it home. He say, mama, thank you. Okay, I'm going back to school now. The girl is just 15 years old girl. And he did that. And I said, my Pekin, who be your mother? He said, okay. Mama, God bless you. God bless you. That girl has raised an altar. Oh, that girl has raised an altar. All the one that laughed, go and watch their story in the future. Then this girl, secondary school girl, 18 years, did this to this woman. Old woman. Life blossom for this girl. She does not know God. She's not even a Christian. Things work out. Say, how did it happen? She did something. She did not do anything. It was what she did, that altar she raised. That's why the Bible tells you, respect old age. Respect those people. Because when you do that thing, you are raising an altar. When you don't fail to respect, honor your pastor. When you don't fail to honor your pastor and old age, you are destroying your destiny. Friend, listen to me. I want to let you know this. How do you raise an altar? You raise altar by dying. You have to decide to die. I surrender all. Surrender your heart. Surrender your mind. Surrender your spirit. Surrender your mind. That's why you can say, yes, I do to God. I will do what pleases you. If God say go out without shoe, you go out without shoe. God said, don't wear wheat. You say, I will not wear wheat. God said, don't wear that makeup. You say, I will not wear the makeup. God said, don't wear that thing. Say, I will obey everything. I surrender all. If God said, don't drink that thing, say, I will never touch that drink again. That's smoking. Don't do that thing. You just surrender everything. You are selfless. That's raising altar. Until you die to yourself. Raising altar. There could be the other altar. Could be when you sacrifice your pleasure. You satisfy your pleasure. You know, I am committed to the things of God. Listen to me. There's no man who is committed to the things of God. Jesus died for the world. He came to evangelize the world. I am committed to win souls. I'm committed to bring people to church. I'm committed to save souls. And you are committed to, we are doing a program. For example, I am committed to win as much as I can to Jesus. That is a sacrifice. I am committed. So you are crazy after winning souls. You are crazy after preaching to people. You are in your office that you talked about Jesus. You talk about your church. You bring people to church. You are carrying people to church. You pay their transport. You are sacrificing yourself. That's raising an altar. And people start coming to church. People start coming to church with you because of you. God look at you and say, hey, so this man can be so committed to the extent he is being involved in winning people to Christ, populate my kingdom, populate my church, and he's so died to church that, oh, if it's makeup that will make me to come to church late, I will never come to church late again. That's an altar. That we are dead to self. If it's makeup that make me to come, if it's food that make me to come to church late, I will never come to church late again. You make it. That's an altar. You are raising an altar. Then the other altar is when you decided to start giving your first fruits. That's blood. The highest sacrifice altar you are raising. You are not giving blood. Blood is your money. You worked for it. You labor for it. You're not giving it as a tithe. As tithe, you are committed. Not you are doing it once and jumping. You are doing it regularly as tithe. Regularly. God, when you do it for some time, for 2 months, 3 years, for 1 year, God will be looking at you. Are you serious? Do you mean it? Or you are being casual? Let me see what then after God will start beginning to open the door for you gradually to see whether you're not giving dangerous one sacrifice. You are not giving dangerous sacrifice. You are not giving altar. You change your offering. You are not giving offering dangerous one. Do you know that you are giving blood? That will make God. That was why, if you look at the Bible, is it Colinius? The Bible says, your alms giving has stand as a memorial before God. That's what the Bible says. It says your giving. The Bible, that is New Testament too, in Acts of Apostles. It says your giving have stand as a memorial for heaven. That means God has taken what the cash, the money you are giving, as a sacrifice to heaven, and it's standing as a memorial that God will always see your giving and bless you. And God now said, God, go on. This man was not a Christian. This man was not a Christian, but because of his alms giving, because of the way he gives, God now arranged this. Give him a vision. Give him an address. What do you tell me, please? You labor too much. You work too much. The key is altar. Raise altar for your life, for your children.